Hello and welcome to the Watch Kaki channel, where we bring you all the good and honest watch reviews. If you haven't done so, I'd like to remind you, please like my video, subscribe to my channel because I've got new videos uploaded every week just for you. In today's video, we are going to review the Seiko 5 here in front of me, and this model is the SNK357K1. I have affectionately called this one the computer face, alright, because if you take a look at this dial here, you see, the moment I play with the light here, you will realize that this dial here is quite different, alright, not the usual boring black or blue Seiko 5 dial. It's got plenty of engravings going on here, so the texturing here is really interesting, and this must be one of the older watches here because it still has that Seiko 5 Superman kind of a badge here, and it still sports the older 7S26 movement, which doesn't hack and doesn't hand wind, but no problems at all because there's always time for one to admire this really good looking dial here. And the Seiko 5 here is on loan from our boutique, and I really gotta thank these people from our boutique. Eric, he's a really nice guy, very generous, very kind, and I really thank you for loaning me all your watches for my videos. So in recent years, we've been seeing new Seiko 5 launches. They have a new logo, they have an updated movement, so we're moving away from the 7S26 movement. So we have the 4R36, 4R35, and those movements, they hand wind, they hack, and I think from a watch, a collection perspective, I think I very much welcome those improvements. But this one here, despite being an older model, cheaper model and all that, it really looks special, and I actually requested to review this watch here because I think this dial here is just too interesting to pass upon. With the lens zoomed in, I'd like to talk to you a bit on the specifications of this watch here. It's got a really small 37mm case here, and the crown here at 4 o'clock is somewhat recessed halfway into the case side, so the entire watch here feels really small here, and it's also rather thin here for a mechanical watch because the total thickness from the base of the exhibition case back to the top of the flat crystal here is only 10.5mm. It's got an 18mm lug width, and I think for those of you out there who are interested in strap changing and all that, I think no problems at all. This does have the potential to be a strap monster. It's also got a really short lug to lug measurement. It comes in at 42mm, so I think this watch here is not a problem at all for those with smaller wrists. I think some of the ladies might be interested in this model as well. So of course, you're not going to get good stuff like sapphire crystal or anything like that. Everything here is hard legs, non-screw-in crown, right? Water resistance, I think, is about 50 meters if I'm not wrong. And over here, the overall level of build quality and construction is a very low end, very basic. You're not seeing like high-end polishing, Saratsu polishing or anything like that. Alright, in fact, you're getting very basic build quality here. Alright, so you can see the bracelet here is just jangly and it's got lots of flex going on here. Alright, so everything here is like stem parts and all that, folded links, as you can see from the sides here, folded links, folded clasp and stem parts and all that. Alright, so non-solid end links as well. This is a really small and fiddly crown here. I'm not a big fan of it, but overall it is what it is. A Seiko 5 comes at a really budget price of around 130 Singapore dollars. So drop by our boutique if you're interested in getting this watch. So in terms of case design here, I would say this is the good old boring uncle-ish style of Seiko 5 case design, with the crown recessed in at around the 4 o'clock area. So nothing fanciful, nothing out of the box, nothing unusual, right? Very safe option here, conservative looks. Okay, in fact, the overall design here is boring, right? Apart from this dial here, right? Every time I, turn the watch here, I'm just so happy to look at the engravings here or the texturing here on the dial. The watch case here has got a good mix of polished and brushed surfaces. Alright, so no sharp edges or anything like that. Okay, but you can see that overall the build quality is still basic. Okay, don't expect mirror like finishing or polishing. All right, so it is an entry-level watch. Okay, so the crown here is just really unpleasant to work with. Okay, I'm not a big fan. And now let's just spend some time to talk about the dial. All right, so perhaps I would just not talk about it. All right, I'm just gonna keep quiet for a while to let you look at the dial. All right. And you can see here, this dial here is just really cool, all right, with all the Seiko 5 emblems, engraved all over the dial. At the same time, it is still very subtle because you're not seeing it when you're looking at the watch like this, okay? So in real life situations, you look at the watch face like this, it's just another boring, dark watch dial. In fact, it looks black here, all right, from this angle, but the moment you pay attention to it, you realize, wow, okay, it is actually, alive, okay, with all the engravings of the Seiko 5 emblem, and I think this is quite something, all right, for something that is not so expensive. So again, as mentioned earlier, the rest of the watch here remains very boring, very conservative. We've got KitKat bars for hour markers with double KitKat bars for 12 o'clock markers here. So I've charged up the lume here on the little Seiko 5 with my UV torch here. I'm going to switch off the lights and let's just check out the lume here on this budget watch here. So as you can see here, the lume here is pretty decent, alright. So for non-sports watch, I would say it's probably enough for you to read the time at low light situations. So good job by Seiko here. And with the lights on and the lens zoomed out just a bit, here's a fake wrist shot of the watch on my wrist here, the SNK357. So, I think 37, 38 millimeters, these watches, they just wear so well. No problems at all with the fit and wearability. Obviously, no lug gaps or lug overhangs here. Fits really well. And like I said, I think even the ladies will be liking this one here. And we've also got a size comparison shot here between the SNK357 computer face compared to my Seiko quartz here, the uncleish looking Seiko quartz. I think, for this one here is one of my favorite watches, 37 millimeters versus 37 millimeters. So I would say in terms of dimension, in terms of design and looks, they are very similar. Okay, so I think for daily wearing, I think these watches, there are no problems at all. And just a quick summary of this review before I wrap up the video. I think, this dial here, is one of the main reasons why you want to pay attention to this watch. It's just a fantastic looking dial here, alright. I like the fact that it doesn't get in your face, alright. It's not that kind of in your face, look at me kind of a feature, but at the same time, it's just so striking here. Alright, so I believe, this watch here is nothing to shout about, right, in terms of build quality and all that, in terms of design and all that, but the dial here again, okay, this is really, something to, to enjoy, something to look at. So there you have it. That was my really quick run through of the Seiko 5 SNK357. I'm going to call this one the computer face because as a child, back in the 80s and 90s, my folks would call the Rolex watches with such dial design here, the repeated motifs, they will call this one the computer face. So I'm going to nickname this one the computer face. Now if you like this watch, if you like the video, if you like George and his plant, alright, George is a kind of a plants guy these days. So if you like us, please subscribe to my channel, come back here every week. This is the Watch Kaki from Singapore. Bye bye.